Hello, I'm back. And I know that might seem weird to you because I barely was here. Excuses for starting a channel and then not posting in like almost 6 months? Depression, burnout, etc. The point is, we're here now, we're doing a lot better. Today, I'm going to be talking about the books that I need to read before the end of 2023. So basically, I have had Goodreads since 2013. If we're gonna be technical, I added these to my Goodreads TBR in August of 2013. So, if we want to stick with like the rules, I believe I will need to read all of these books by August. However, I'm not gonna beat myself up about it. Anyway, I had them in a nice stack, but then they all fell over and now they're kind of super disorganized. But basically, these are the last few books on my Goodreads TBR that I haven't read in almost 10 years. Obviously, I had other books on my TBR that were on my TBR in 2013 that I have already read. This is just what is left. Number 1 is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. I just had Alice's Adventures in Wonderland on the TBR, but we're going for both of them because they kind of go together. I know like the general story. I've seen the movie like once, but I know the book is different, so we're gonna read it. And I really like classics, so I think that I'll probably like this. Actually, there's quite a few classics on this list. We're gonna read it. Alice in Wonderland, baby! Next up, I have The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick. This is a book that I'm honestly surprised that I haven't read sooner because this is like so incredibly something that I would be interested in. One, I've read the movie and I really like it. What? No, watched the movie. I've watched the movie and I really like it. It's like a big chunky book and it has a lot of illustrations. So I think that even though it's really thick, it will be pretty easy to read. Yeah, I'm expecting to really like this one, and I am surprised that I've put it off for so long, if we're being honest. So next up is one that I'm not as excited for, and that is Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. Now, I don't have anything against Elizabeth Gilbert. I've read Big Magic by her in like 2017, 2018 maybe, and I really liked it. I think that just because this book has been so unbelievably hyped, I'm worried that I'm not gonna like it. I don't know. I honestly, like, I can try to like come up with a good reason, but off the top of my head, I don't know why I'm not looking forward to this. I own it. I've owned it since like 2016 and I just haven't read it. I think I'm just worried that this book at this point is like too cliched or too like memed on for me to actually genuinely enjoy it. It's literally a #1 bestseller, and I'm sure it's a bestseller for a reason, and I'm probably gonna like it. Yeah, that's Eat, Pray, Love. Next up, I have Wildwood by Colin Malloy. I think that's how you say his name. I really hope it's how you say his name. If not, Colin, I'm so sorry. The story takes place in like a fantasy version of Portland, Oregon, which is cool because I grew up in Portland. It has a Powell's Books sticker on it. So, Portland, Powell's, all of the above. This book also has pictures in it, which I'm very excited about. This is about a girl whose brother gets kidnapped and then she has to go find him in the wildwood or something like that. I'm gonna be honest, a lot of the time with books, I don't actually like read the synopsis. Like I'll hear a couple tidbits about it and be like, oh, I'd probably like that, and I'll add it to my Goodreads TBR, and then I will never look at that again, and eventually I'll just end up with the book one way or another, and I'll just be like, oh, I guess I'm gonna read this, and I'll usually have forgotten what it's about. So I'm not very good at explaining what books are about like before I've actually read them, because a lot of the time I don't fully know enough details. I know this is a fantasy. I think it's like a middle grade. I love just like the square shape of this book. I really like middle grade books, so the fact that it's not like adult isn't really an issue for me. Next, The Giver by Lois Lowry. This is a book that has been on my radar quite literally since I was a child. I know that there's a character in this book named Fiona. That's like one of the reasons why I found out about it in the first place. It's because when I was a kid, people would always be like, oh, your name's Fiona, like from blah blah blah, or from blah blah blah, or from The Giver. Normally it was from Shrek, but From The Giver popped up a few times, and because I like books, I was like, maybe I should read that. And it's been my whole life, and I still haven't. I know that this is a science fiction, like dystopian type book. I think it has something to do with like people's feelings or emotions. trans, maybe? Like, people aren't allowed to feel emotion except for some people or something. I guess I could just read the back, but honestly, I think it's kind of more fun to just not know anything. Again, I also think there's a movie for this one that has Taylor Swift in it. Maybe I'll watch that. I don't know. I don't think I remember hearing very good things about it, so maybe I will, maybe I won't. We will see. Next, I have the prettiest edition of Emma that I have ever seen in my entire life. I am obsessed with these penguin cloth-bound books. This was the first penguin cloth-bound classic that I ever got, and I now have, 2. But the second one's not in this video. I've read another Jane Austen, I've read Pride and Prejudice, but that is it. And I really liked Pride and Prejudice, but it's been a really long time since I've read it. I honestly haven't read a classic in a while. I guess that's not really true, but I haven't read like a bigger classic in a while, and a lot of these books are bigger classics because 2013 was when I was kind of like getting into classics for the first time. What I think this book is about is a girl named Emma, obviously. I think she kind of like meddles in the lives of people around her and like gossips and like interferes and stuff. I don't know. I've heard that it's a lot of people's favorite Jane Austen books, so I'm really hoping that I will also enjoy it. Also because I really love this copy and I don't want to not like it because it's so pretty. That's Emma by Jane Austen. Hopefully we'll be reading that one sooner than later. Next up, I have another classic that is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. I don't know if this is a good place to really start with Dickens, but it is the place where I will be starting. I honestly know very little about this, except that it's Charles Dickens, so it probably takes place in London and is about class dynamics. Maybe not. I just read the inside flap and it says something about the French Revolution, so people are probably gonna call me like a stupid idiot for not knowing what these books are about. But hey, I haven't read them yet, and I'm going to. So honestly, like, this year's just gonna be a really good reading year because I'm gonna check off so many books that I've wanted to read for literally so long. I also have The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Don't know a whole lot about it, other than the fact that it's about a girl who I think is an orphan, and she lives with her uncle, maybe, and she stumbles across a secret garden. And I am super here for the garden vibes. I feel like I've heard some things about this book not aging super well, and I hope that I still like it. We're in the home stretch, we're over halfway. So, we have Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Another one where I saw the movie like a long time ago, but I never read the book. I know it's about a kid. I believe it takes place in the form of like letters. Coming of age book. Anyway, next. Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, the man himself. We were supposed to read it my freshman year of high school, but my class skipped it. This is not my first Shakespeare. I have read Macbeth and Hamlet. I think Macbeth is my favorite. I've seen the play of Romeo and Juliet, but I have never read the book, so I'm hoping it'll be fun. It's kind of like the classic forbidden love story, the OG, if you will. My stack of books is getting so tall. It's like just barely underneath the camera. Next, I have Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. Now, I have seen the movie. I didn't like it that much, so we'll see. I also tend to not love sci-fi. Okay, that's not exactly true. Like, I do like some sci-fi. I love Star Trek. Every sci-fi I've written by, like, not a man has been pretty good, though. Hopefully it's fine. And if not, then oh well. And then the last book is the one I am most intimidated by, and that is Les Mis by Victor Hugo. This book is absolutely enormous. It's almost 1,500 pages. French Revolution, classic. I've heard that this book is like not super difficult to read, that it's like honestly really worth it. It's just that it's so long. I have a whole year to read it. I've read over 1,000 pages this year so far anyways, just across multiple different books. I'm really hoping that I enjoy it. And now, if I stack up all of my books, we're here. We made it. Thank you for sitting here and watching me go through all of these books. I have got a good lot of reading ahead of me. I'm excited. I think this will be a really good time. I'm probably gonna end up reading more classics this year than any other year in the past, just due to how many are on this list. My goal this year is to read 100 books. I always set my goal to 100 books. The last 3 years I have surpassed that goal, even if just by like a little bit, so I know I can do it. I typically read a lot of manga, which helps with that for sure. I can definitely read 12 books in a year, even if one of them is a chonker. Anyway, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. I will definitely post an update at some point, or possibly a review at the end of the year to go over the books. And maybe I'll react to this, and hopefully I will have read them. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!